input. That should be down to there. That's probably better. That's probably better right there. That's probably better right there. Good morning. Good morning, all. Hello. Good morning. Sorry I'm late. I had to pee. I don't know why I told you that. And I hadn't plugged my mic in. But otherwise, I was ready. I've been here ready the whole time. I've been here like, come on, bring it. Bring 11 o'clock. Come on. Bring it. And here we are. I'd like to welcome you all to the show. It's a happy Thursday. This is episode 122, the Zionist Remodel. Fellow humanians from Retardia, I am really struggling here. It might not look like it. I am really struggling here. I'm trying as best as I can to not just turn this into a complete hash browning of other things, and I'm doing my best here. All right, and I'd like to talk about the remodel that's happening all around us. I'd like to discuss the remodel because what you are looking at is a Zionist remodel of the world. And that's all I do is tell you about it. That's all I do is tell you about this remodel. And I know that most of you are like, James, we get it. But we're not getting it. The reason why we're not getting it is that people who think, wait a minute, is everything okay? He started on D Live. You guys not seeing me on YouTube's? I bet you OKC Bear would tell me if that was true. I have my chat on. Anyone else not see James yet? Oh, that's terrible. That's sorry to hear that. Hang on a second, guys. It would appear that the stream was not working on YouTube. Just give me one sec. One sec. I know what I did. I had to create a new one, didn't it? So then I'm so sorry, guys. Dang. Sorry about that. There are some of you in YouTube chat, you're going to have to get out and you're going to have to hit on that other link. I'm really sorry about that. That's quite an amateur mistake, something I do more than once. And this is another one of those times. Like I told you, I'm trying my best here to stay on a certain track and course. I'm doing my best. And it comes down to this Zionist remodeling. It comes down to this long-term goal that's been happening underneath us the whole time. And the reason why I'm so upset about this particular one, I go off on this all the time. And the reason why I always harp on this is because I know it's the linchpin of what's stopping us. I know that there is epigenetic fear inside of you, fear of not embracing Israel, fear of getting it wrong, fear of being labeled an anti-Semite. There are people out there who are under this spell. And it's so deep, the only way to wake them up, the only way to penetrate that is to make it so disgustingly expensive for them that they finally break it. And that is what is happening right now in real time. Hi, Catherine Hopkins. I would love it if you would join us on YouTube too. Yeah, right there. There's another YouTube link too. One of those will work. This is all my fault. This is my bad. I'd like to give a special shout out to Catherine Hopkins. She's been helping us with the website, both of them, and it's been really helpful. Thank you so much, Catherine. I hope that I can repay this favor to you one day soon. This remodel has been happening for thousands of years. In fact, for 102 years, this girl, her future was dictated 102 years ago with the Balfour Declaration. Lord Rothschild wrote a note basically saying, I own this. And the Queen of England accepted that going, cool. And we fall for this because of our cowardice. We fall for this because of the Gulliver of man. What is the Gulliver? The Gulliver is an ancient story of a giant, right? A man so tall that he wreaks havoc on society. Why would a man that tall wreak havoc on society? Why would that not be something that we would embrace? And the reason is because of our own fear of sovereignty and vigilance. We fear that. And months ago, I would have told you, oh, it's because we're under the spell of Zionism. That's what it is. That pesky spell has got us fooled. And we're going to work as hard as we can. We're working as hard as we can to break free from the chains of Gulliverhood, right? We're like, oh, that Zionism's got us locked down. It's tied our wrists. And it's pouring beverage into our mouth to keep us drunk. Oh, that pesky Zionism. If only that Zionism wasn't there, we could get up. That's what's happening right now. And we lay down and relax. We take it. We don't tell the villagers, but this is kind of nice. If I lay back, they'll put these ropes around me so I can pretend like I can't get up. They'll pour beer into my mouth every day. They will subdue me until my apathy secretes itself. And even though I could piss on a fire, I just thought this was hilarious. Even though I could pee on a fire and save the city with one giant, right, with all that whiskey in him, although that could be flammable. I don't know how that works when you drink whiskey as far as the flammability of your urine. We're just speculating here. But I would like to say that regardless, if you were a giant and people didn't like you, you could really, really make a lot of friends by the next time you see a fire, just walk up to it and pee on it, assuming you don't have any flammable urine inside you. This is an important lesson. All of us need to remember this as we are traveling. If we find ourselves giants in a world of dozers, and those dozers, their buildings was to catch on fire, you could pee on it and they would thank you. This actually is a litmus proof to what I've been saying before, that morality is like a compass inside, because truly, I've just described how peeing on someone's house would be a moral decision. I've just proven that. It isn't a hypothetical because you have to be a giant, but still, the lesson is there. And all kidding aside, what I'm trying to tell you guys is that we have to fear the giant in order to subdue the giant. And the giant himself has to feel as if he is the danger. As if he's the one that would cause all these problems by standing up on his own, by being this tall. So he lays himself down. And he waits for liquid to be rolled up this cart and dumped into his mouth. He doesn't mind it at all. And that's what Zionism is. That's what this is. In fact, we don't know what's happening in the world. The cause of the Notre Dame fire is still unknown. What we're looking at is a Zionist remodeling project around the world. And what doesn't bother us anymore is that if it's done with a bulldozer, it's completely legit. If it's done with a drone strike, it's completely legit. It's only not legit when we're shown pictures of blood and how bad it is. This is legit. This is Zionism remodeling Palestine. In the middle of the daylight, look inside the house. People live there. This is people's homes. Palestinian people, not the chosen people, Palestinian people. Welcome to another episode that will be demonetized. This is progress. This is Zionism remodeling itself in Palestine. It's happening in broad daylight. This guy's future was determined 102 years ago. And it was determined by people right now that are claiming to be on top of the truth movement. People right now that are claiming to be pinnacles of the truth movement are helping this remodel happen, and they don't give a shit. They don't care. And the reason why they don't care is because it's too expensive. Man himself is the Gulliver of giants. And I am so angry at this silence. I clench my fist at the thought that my greatest opponent in this war for humanity is a wall of air. My enemy is nothing. My enemy does absolutely nothing. The stillness mocks me with an apathetic serenity. It's a congregation of faceless cloaks. They watch me contort myself like a child, poking a dead snake in the road. Just move. Move. Do something. And all this corpse does is sit there. It does nothing, again and again, over and over, day after day. And right now, people that I like deeply trusted in this truth movement, people that are like fully committed to it, they will not say a word about Zionism. They will not go on a show and promote my name because of the dangers of Zionism. They can't share my work because, Zionism. And you get in these huge, colossal fights over morning stars that set you back for months. You lose thousands and thousands of subscribers because you're fighting the deadliest enemy you can find in the truth movement is that apathy. And that apathy is the exact same fuel that pushes the Zionist remodel. I am so mad at the truth community when it comes to Zionism. If there's anything that's cost me more, it's been my fight against Zionism every freaking day. And I lose friends to it. I lose allies to it. I lose opportunities to it. I lose money to it. I lose book sales to it. I lose viewership to it. I lose ostracization. I lose friends. I lose girlfriends to this shit. Because they see how expensive it is and they see that I'm still in there. I'm still in there going, no, fuck you, this is true. No, fuck you, this is happening. We are being remodeled in real time. And we're talking about Beirut like it's a new explosion. And look in North Korea, Wuhan, United Emirates, Iraq, St. Paul, Minnesota, how'd that get in there? Las Vegas, Syria, just yesterday, Syria. We hold Syria responsible. And what, 75% of the truth movement is pro-Zionist. And they're pro-Zionist by being cowards about it. By giving that Gulliver, by laying back and going, I'm not going to say shit. You hear things like that. Well, I have to be careful of who I share. Why? If this is about truth, why do you have to be careful about who you share? Why? What is the purpose of being careful about who you share? Because what I hear is you're telling me you're making strategic moves to protect or increase your influence and electricity. And that has zero to do with truth, does it? That is the antithesis of truth. That is carving a profit for yourself by avoiding the pitfalls of things that are expensive to talk about, like Zionism, like Lucifer, like a two-party system, like academia, like taxes, like Pizzagate, like Epstein Island. Amazing Polly is still sniping me from behind her tweets. She's got me blocked and she'll unblock me long enough to tell everyone what a psycho I am for simply pointing out, Polly, Epstein Island did not burn. The story you reported on it burning is not true. Polly, that's a fake painting of a door. That's not a dungeon door with a lock on it. That's not true. And every day I find myself in trenches with Zionists, with people that are like, no, dude, we're not going there. No, we're not here to win this war. We're here to gain ground. That's what they're telling me. They're telling me every day, I'm not here to win this war. I'm here to gain ground. And that's why I can't share your stuff. That's why I can't share this stuff. That's why I can't talk about this topic, because I have to be careful who I share. Because this isn't a truth movement, is it? And We are in trenches with some of the worst psychopathic people you can find. They are in our trenches. Because they don't see this as a battle for humanity. They don't have a problem with the apathy. They like it. They know that I will just dwindle more because I'll have to fight 10 times harder to even explain my first point, because it'll get stretched and turned into he's a moral relativist or he's a whatever the fuck they're going to say about me, when I'm trying to imply or suggest or tell you that you are a giant. You're a giant of your morality, your ethics, your truth, your ability to sniff bullshit. All that comes from you, not government. And you can't harness that because you're too busy watching the dissonance. This is dissonance. This isn't a poor family, is it? This is a family that doesn't have a home anymore because Zionists. Because people have to be careful of what they share. That's why shit like this happens every day. And this is what keeps most of us quiet. Because of how expensive it is to ask these questions. Excuse me. I ate a peanut earlier. I ate one of the bird's peanuts. I need to get that back in there. It is. This is a remodel. You're not going to get any explanations for it. None of them. And the entire time, life for all of us just goes on. This is a picture of me in Barcelona. I'm only showing this picture. There's a pigeon on my shoulder, if you're curious. A pigeon, pretty cool that it was pretty weird he jumped on my shoulder. But anyway, he got on my shoulder. I was able to pull out my phone, change it, figure out how to, it took a picture of everything. He stood there. And that picture was telling me something. This pigeon was telling me something. Because where I was in Barcelona, the exact spot where I was standing, 2 weeks later, there was a terrorist attack. That driver guy, right, drove through the city. It was 2 weeks after this picture was taken, right there on that spot where I was standing. Right there. Right there. Zionism was remodeling itself. And people who are too afraid to, I can't share that stuff, just watched it happen. They're just like, yeah, well, that's what happens. It's terrorism's real. Go Zionism. Hey, did you hear that? Terrorism is real. 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 Duck rape Israel. And even though I can show you a bunch of freaking gosh, even though I can show you a bunch of people, I can't even say their name, who tell you I'm right, you still don't care. We still don't care because it's too expensive. Because the last thing we can possibly do, sorry, I didn't mean to have that Israel in there. The last thing we could possibly do is question what we were told. Is question the idea that maybe we shouldn't be backing Israel. That maybe 27 states in the United States should be allowed to boycott a country. That maybe having the ability to boycott them would actually be like a good idea. But we just keep profiting from it. So many of us keep profiting from it. We're too afraid to say something. We're either too afraid to get labeled here, or we're too afraid to get labeled in the afterlife when we're Westing. And it's not even in the Bible. The entire concept of hell came from Dante. It's not even Scripture. And it's our desire, it's our infatuation with taking our Gulliver and laying his ass down. And the whole time the remodel's happening. So where are we going? What's it all for? That's what it's for. This is the city of Astana, formerly named Astana, recently renamed. It's in Kazakhstan. You're looking at a beautiful phoenix fountain. In 1999, that place was a waste hole. 1999. 13 years later, it was completed for 2012. And the pillars of Joachim and Boaz were mounted. In the central third tower, the Tower of Sacrifice has been laid in place. And it's happening in front of our eyes because the Zionists are remodeling, and we're surrounded by male lesbian cowards who say, I can't share this stuff because I have to be careful who sees it. And it makes me so freaking mad because all of this is happening in real time. This is the pyramid at the center. This is what's on the back of the dollar bill, guys. On the back of the dollar bill is this pyramid. And directly where you see the eye is a council table, a round council table. Now, before we get in that pyramid, I want to take you back to this phoenix again. Beneath the pool of the phoenix is a serpent. A serpent is inside the pool of the phoenix. This was before it was filled with water. And that serpent is Gaia. That serpent is Quetzalcoatl. That serpent is America. And this serpent is flying across the water from a building that looks just like the White House. And it's heading straight for this pyramid. Straight into this pyramid. This is directly across from it. The phoenix, right? Just so we're clear, the phoenix will be resurrected and she will lead us to a new world order. And the only way you can resurrect a phoenix is you got to kill it. You got to kill the snake. What is the snake? The cabal. This is what it looks like. Look at the alignments. Look at the symbolism. Here it is again overhead. You can see the phoenix aiming directly. Look at the path. Directly into the eye of the pyramid. An entire city's been built in 13 years. For this city on the hill. 1,000 points of light. And it changes colors. I think there's 33 of these guys. Now, in 2013, at the completion of the city, they showed you the serpent. And in 2018, they flooded that serpent with water. They fill it with water. And this has been the world's largest spell laid out in asphalt and landscape. And it was built in 13 years. Guys, do you understand how much effort and calories had to go into completing all this in 13 years? Why would you go ahead and decide where the new capital of the world was going to be? Why would you decide in 1999, let's put it in Kazakhstan. There's a lot of potential here. Look at all this potential up here. Look, we got bushes. We should totally build the new capital of the world here. And we should go ahead and design it as if like everyone's going to come together. Let me show you this Astana round table. The round table in Astana is a giant council Council of Eyes. It's I'm looking for a really good one. It looks like a giant eye. It's like a solar sun, basically. And this is where most people are like, oh, it's the sun worshippers. And actually, it's not. It's not sun worshippers. I'm telling you that because here, let me just show you this. Boop. Window capture. I'm gonna window capture for you. Here we go. Okay, so this is what you see up there. Let's get this thing over here. There you go. There you go. Right there. That's what you see. This kind of round table layout is what you see at the top of that building. But it actually looks down. See, look, here's a better picture of it. See that? And the reason why I'm telling you it's not sun worship, I know you're like, oh, it's sun worship. It's I don't even give a shit. If you want to think it's sun worship, that's fine. But what you're missing is that inside of here, around this table, is a signed piece. There's a piece of wood from every religion, from every quote quote leader, we'll say. That's here, and that signed piece of wood is basically their own personal religion, their own personal thought. In other words, it's not really a convergence as much as it's like a giant powwow. It's the New World Order coming together, and it scares the shit out of all you because all you saw was the snake. And I don't mind you being scared by it. I say go for it, man. Be worried about these people because the Zionist cucks that are helping this along are going to be the ones that destroy you. It's not going to be this New World Order in Astana. These people are probably closer to illuminated. When I say that is these people are more about exposure, about showing it all, about saying, no, this is why we built it to be done in 2012. We showed you we're going to flood the cabal. We showed you we're going to destroy the serpent. It doesn't say we created that serpent. It just says we're going to cut it down. And that's truly what Apollo does, isn't it? The oldest idea we have is that Apollo, the sun god, comes down to Delphi and murders the snake of Gaia. He chops that snake, and the putrid smell that rose from the cracks in Delphi was sniffed and whiffed by virgins for thousands of years, and they would predict the future on this. It was a power center. And so by sacrificing the snake, by sacrificing your connection to the land, this other thing can happen. And it's congruence through dissonance is what it is. And it's one of the oldest Kabbalistic traditions, is that we will bring this world to God by literally crushing it. We will crush this world, is what the Zionist tells you. We will crush this world so hard, with so many lies, with so much dissonance, with so much inversion, with so much evacuation, that everyone will rush to the light the second we flood it. The second we hit this world with light, everyone will come running. And it will only work if we make it the most brutal, disgusting, awful experience you can ever have. And that's why the people that won't share your stuff can sleep at night, because they think they're still doing God's work. They think the lies are okay. They think the psychopathy is okay. And it is the largest, grandest self-justification for psychopathy, sociopathy, narcissism you've ever seen. And it's why they're winning. It's why they're winning. It's why families are being destroyed. It's why people are choosing anything but a family core. It's why the male lesbians are winning all the women, because the women all want to have their own penis. They want to have their own masculine. And so it becomes necessary for them to be attracted to a male lesbian. And that's why we're seeing culture the way it is. The dissonance is going to bring us together. And it's going to bring us together by force and destruction. It's already happening. This isn't a prediction, is it? This is a report. This is a book report. The story's already happened. You will never know the cause of the fire because the people that run the media and anyone else who has a big name doesn't give a shit. Because it's too dangerous to tell you that. And so we pretend we're fine. We find ways to survive. We sink deeper into Babylon by hiding from Zionism. And we get paid more, we make more profit, we get bigger houses, we get bigger influence. People look up to us because we won't say shit about Zionism now. People look up to us because we don't rock the boat when we speak our truth. We're here to bring everyone along. And that's the Gulliver. That's that silence that just makes me so mad because it keeps winning. The quest is strong, but it's small. There is a rebel faction in the woods, and you are probably one of them. And there are not many of us. We don't get to meet in a secret underground bunker. We don't get to drive our fancy cars around and explain to everyone how we're here to help. We're digging holes in the dirt. We're gathering around fire. We're sharing food and humanity. And we're not helping the Zionism remodel. We're doing the opposite. We're trying to uncover the world underneath. Underneath the asphalt, underneath the concrete, right? There's a living soil. It's desperate for sunlight. It's desperate to feel the atmosphere. And the apathy is just fucking killer, man. It's killer. God is a listener, not a talker. I guarantee you that's true. I guarantee it. Anyone telling you what God said, they weren't listening to God to begin with. They weren't. They were hearing words. And words are man. Words are the invention of man. Words are the will of man encapsulated into acoustic air. And we fight the stillness. The stillness of apathy we attack with the air of words. We bombard it. We strike it. Like, stop being silent. But the Gulliver loves his sleep. The Gulliver loves his fancy clothes. He loves his beer. He loves the ropes. They make it easier to relax and stare at the clouds. And wonder what it would be like to be free. I wonder what it would be like if I was just free of these ropes. And he already knows, doesn't he? He knows exactly what it would be like. And that's why he stays lying down. Time is running out. It's more and more properties being lost. Someone told me today, I don't know if I can leave the country, James. I need to ask a doctor for permission. And that doctor loves being asked for permission. It's the exact same way of saying you're an essential worker, isn't it? So we've taken the very heart of where most of the psychopaths have been placed, talking about pedestalism, right? Talking about the idea that you're the white coat expert now. And we've given them more power. And we've said, no, you're the one. And they'll never say shit about Zionism. Never. Ugh. Makes me so sick. And I'm sorry I'm sick about it. This is why I'm going out to California. This is why we're going to just try something new. This is why I'm fighting. Pushing this idea, I should say. It's not even really fighting. It's just met the big names just meet it with just such a silence to it. Just like, well, why doing that? We could just be not talking about Zionism and just making a freaking fat profit right now. And that's the Neon Revolt. That's the QAnon. That's the Amazing Polly. It's this plethora of people that are here to not say shit about Zionism. To never, ever, ever, ever look a Christian in the eye and say, could you please be responsible for this? Could you please speak up for this? Because your fear and all that hate and all the worry and concern and paranoia that you've been injected with, you are the one causing this to happen because you won't say anything. This is because we won't say anything. And all it will do is keep happening. And you guys that are convinced that as long as you don't say anything, God's going to say, well, you didn't never spoke out against Israel, so you win. And you're being fucking lied to. We're going to find out one day that half of you guys are worshiping an AI. Barely smarter than Amazon Alexa. And you're freaking worshiping it. You're cutting dicks off for it. You're injecting vaccines for it. You're remodeling countries for it. You're laying down 102-year-old lease agreements for it. And you're worshiping an ancient AI who you've told is the only source of your morality. And you're casting names at me, and you're casting names at Gullivers. And you're destroying anyone who tries to suggest at all that maybe, just fucking maybe, you could have something to do with this, that you could actually change this, that you could actually be uncomfortable. In God's witness, to be uncomfortable and have that conversation I've told you guys to have over and over and over again. God listens, he doesn't talk. So talk to him. Say, God, I'm seriously freaking concerned about what Zionism is doing. It doesn't seem like this is something you would want to happen. Perhaps, the exact same people that have been lying to me for the exact same reasons, for the exact thousands and thousands of years, maybe, God, just maybe, they are lying to me again. And so I'm having this conversation with you, God, because I'm frustrated, because I'm concerned, because I'm trying to exercise morality and live a good life in your eyes. But this book tells me I have to back Israel. Or this profit I can make, charging shitloads of money, will only be effective if I never ever question Israel. Or I can be on this channel if I don't question Israel. Or I can have this person retweet me if I don't question Israel. And God, I'm having problems with that because you see, I'm a hypocrite because I'm telling people I want the truth. And so now I'm having this conversation with you, God. I don't know what to do. I want to speak out against Zionism. I don't want to burn in hell. So God, I'm telling you right now, this is what my heart's telling me. And you gave me this heart. The heart you gave me told me, James, this doesn't feel right. All this remodeling feels wrong. And maybe the most important thing I could do is sacrifice my own audience, my own followers, and make it expensive for other Zionists to watch me, to get up every morning and go, tell me how fucking great we are again. Tell me how we're going to save all this. Tell me how all our problems are just about Fauci, or just about this, or just about a fake virus, or a pandemic, or a real pandemic, or whatever the fuck it is you're going to say. Everything except for Zionism. You will never look under this rock. And the whole time you're pretending, well, they're going to come censor me, so I can't say the word Zionism. God, the names I could name right now to tell you who's told me don't say Zionism would blow your fucking mind. Would blow your mind. And they keep winning. That cowardice keeps winning. It wins every week here. And I'm still going. Don't get me wrong. Thank God for you guys that are helping me. Freaking awesome, man. This time last year, God, it was like this way times a million. I was so distraught because it was just, just everyone, especially in the Q movement then, everyone was just like, no. Zionism's good. Zionism's good. The 102-year-old Balfour Plan signed by Rothschild James, that's not a secret plot from the evil Luciferian cabal that rules us all. And I'm just like, how fucking high did you have to be before you got this high? Like, seriously. I don't mind us doing what feeds us. There's a healthy honesty in that. But I'm having to hang out with people that are telling me, no, James, I need you to tell me I'm good. Even though I won't help, even though I won't preach about Zionism, even though I won't bitch about this, even though I won't even stand up and do what's right, I still need you to tell me I'm a good guy. That's what I'm surrounded by. Is people that are so devoid and evacuated of their own morality, they need someone like me to fawn over them, to tell them how great they are so they will feel better. And every day in the trenches, they don't fucking say shit. They never say shit. And all their audience does is grow. All their influence does is grow. And we get built up on this pedestal abuse. We get hoisted up. Thank God it doesn't happen to me. I just have this brutal ability to shoot myself in the foot at exactly the right moment, over and over again. And what's amazing is that 3 or 4 months later, I'll be slowly back to where I used to be before. Right? Just like this now with Owen. I'll eventually get back. But as I'm getting back, meanwhile, Zionism is still remodeling the fuck out of this place. But I'm the evil one. I'm the evil one because I'm calling this out, because I'm questioning this shit. Because I'm asking you to look in your fucking soul and say, is your cosmology a fucking candy cutter? Did you get it out of a vending machine where the little arm goes up? It goes, you have a cosmology. You're going to hell now. Because I'm looking at us saying, stop being a fucking kindergartner. Ask yourself this. If you have that conversation that I just had with God, that I've had so many times, and you tell him, it just feels weird. As you're having that conversation, show yourself enough empathy to listen to that from the third person and go, if God was to punish me for having this conversation right now, I don't know if I'm supposed to be in God's good graces. Because if we truly trust God's plan, here I am in my cockpit, and all my fucking readings are saying, dude, stop fucking killing Palestine. Stop bombing shit. Stop pretending that this is about winning. Stop declaring germ war theory on cosmology. Stop calling people fucking evil for not embracing a sacred blood oath that hints at royalty bloodline. Stop. And look at yourself in the eyes and go, maybe I'm supposed to be punished for eternity for having a heart. And tell God that. Say, God, it feels like maybe I'm supposed to be punished. If we're going to listen to this book, if we're going to follow this book, which you didn't sign, by the way, not once did you sign this book, God. Nowhere on this does it say, by God, spring 1946. It never does it say that. Not fucking once. And you're convinced that the zeitgeist is here to give you religion. And you will profit off this shit, won't you? Because that's what Zionism does. It shows you this is about winning, this is about profit, this is about electricity. And isn't that a shark? A shark is someone with the appetite for electricity. A dolphin is someone with an appetite for compassion. It's the difference between listening and just fucking feeling voltage in the water. I guarantee you, if you look at 9 out of the 10 paragons in the truth movement, they never say shit about Zionism. Not once. Ever. 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 And they think as long as it's a bulldozer, it's legit. As long as it's in the middle of the day, it's legit. Because we got to talk about Wayfarer cult. We got to talk about Pizzagate. We got to talk about Bill Clinton's a pedophile. That's what we got to talk about. It's fucking sickening. It's sickening because of how profitable that is. It's cotton candy. And they're spinning it out every day. That's why I get so mad at them. I can't stand that because it's that silence. How do you yell at a wall of silence? How do I defeat a giant wall of apathy and silence? Because every day it fucking brutalizes people like me. Every day. Am I preaching too much? I'm probably preaching too much. Have that conversation with God, man. Have it. It's the most empowering thing you'll ever have. Most of you never, ever, ever talk to God. You say you'll pray. I'll pray for you later. No, you won't. No, you won't. What you will do, though, is you'll have a conversation with God one day. It'll be just like mine. You'll say, hey, God, long time no see. I would like to express some concerns I have. You don't have to talk. It's going to feel all that. All that's going to come up. It's going to come up. And you're going to hold that communion with the silence of God. Because God will always talk to you in silence. He's listening. He's not talking. He's listening. You can't corrupt a listen. You can only corrupt someone's words. That's why God doesn't speak in words. He speaks in listening. And you're going to have that. You're going to have that conversation with him. Bill 1999, it's not about whether SGD report or poly. It's not about that. It's not, because that turns them into the enemy, which just follows the same game as Zionism does, right? The quickening. There can be only one. The beef with SGT report is simple. That dude for months and months and months and years has spoken out with this dramatic music, with this dramatic writing about how, boom, we have to get the Zionists, boom, we have to find a way, boom. And the fucker will not once ask on his air, never, ever, 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 ever will fucking ask, who is Q? Instead he goes, people think Q isn't real. And he takes the debate into this squirrely, curly Q. Like a fucking ride at Showbiz Pizza. It's like 5 and under. And he sits there and he sets up shop. He sets up a vending shop. He's vending salacious outrage with a card table that he's got a felt cloth over. And he will never, ever, ever, ever ask, who the fuck is Q? Maybe this is bad. Maybe this is controlled op. He's not able to ask that question because of how expensive it was when he was 5, when someone told him a story about what hell is. And that's the most polite thing I can do to describe Sean, because otherwise I'd have to call him an opposition. I'd have to call him a psychopath that's secretly working for the elite, and I don't buy that shit. I think everyone is motivated by their morality. I think Sean wants to sleep at night, which is why he will never, ever, ever, ever fucking question who QAnon is. Because he doesn't want to have that conversation with God like I do. Because he likes the high, he likes the lithium high of thinking every day that if he doesn't do something right now that doesn't involve talking about Zionism, the evil pedophile Luciferian cult will come and take his children away. And that's exactly why you go to horror movies. You can have the shittiest life in the world, but if you go to a horror movie and watch a teenage girl run through the forest with her titties hanging out, you get to be like Sean and feel better. Because you feel like, no, I've defeated this evil. We caught the guy in the Jason mask. We got him. And I'm not trying to be hard on Sean. But the dude even said, I don't even know who James True is. And he's literally monetizing videos from me about mind control on his site as he's telling everyone, well, if James would have brought up who QAnon is, I might have considered the question. And he's literally monetizing videos for me about it. You can literally look at our chat history on Twitter and you will see over and over again interactions about this. But it's always shot down because no one wants to fucking look under the table. Because it's a magic trick. And these people are selling you magic tricks, but they believe them too. They believe them too because they don't want to have that conversation with God. They think God isn't watching. They think God is not their witness. They think they are God's witness. which means what they report will only come through in a prayer on Sunday. And everything else they do doesn't fucking count. I'm included in this. Can open my refrigerator right now and show you where chickens have been fucking slaughtered and tortured in the shittiest conditions in the world so I can feed me and my dog. I am not better in this. I've simply had that conversation with God because I know what God is. God is listening. And God is listening to the Zionism remodel itself in real fucking time. And I'm watching some of the most amazing people in the truth movement fall for it because they don't have the fucking courage to do something hard. They don't have the courage to look at someone else and say, I'm going to make it expensive for you to not call out Zionism. And we don't do that. We make it more profitable because we love the drama of it all. We love watching girls run through the woods with their titties hanging out. How could STG report trust Q now, Laura? By the way, I totally agree with you. Don't hear this. Sorry I'm being so ornery today. But I want to remind you, there's no choice. Sean and Amazing Polly had no choice to flip on Q. They ran out of room. The room was painted shut. Guys, look at some of the shit Q was telling you was real. These two had no choice. They moved because they had no choice. They didn't move because they were brave. They didn't move because they were bombastic or leading a new call. Not only did Polly tell you that that island burnt, but she told you that temple was real. And the guy was telling you that it was fake. Me, showing you pictures, showing you drone footage of it, how it was fake, was labeled a psychopath. And within 15, I had at least 15 reviews come in that day from people that were pushing for Polly because they were so convinced in Sean's music. They were so convinced in this bullshit that they decided the only way they could help the truth is by trying to smear my name and destroy my ability to sell books, to distribute my truth. Because it's the quickening. Because it's how they win. And the very people that claim to you that the evil eye is this Luciferian evil cult are the very ones that are selling you all this drama and music.
Fear the eye!
Today on SGT Report, we uncover some of the worst possible things that have ever happened to children anywhere in the world. We will tell you stories of how they've been tortured in such amazing ways it'll turn your toenails. We will discuss anyone who tries to eradicate the secret white hats that are coming to save us. We will tell you how wrong they are and how evil they are. Because we live on fear. We profit off Zionism. We are the evil eye. And you get this apathetic shit set to dramatic music that's entertaining, so you buy it. And it's more entertaining than James True. Look at that fucker. Look at some of the shit he says. And that's what's happening all around us. And we are not going to win in Babylon. I am not going to win inside here. Inside this fucking box that you see, there's no fucking way I'm going to win. Because every day there's another person out there winning by playing this game of the quickening. There will always be another. There will always be another because that's how profitable it is. And the only way to stop it is to stop making it profitable. But we don't, because these people profit so much that people flock to them. They give them energy. They give them profit. They want them to succeed. They see them not calling out Zionism, and they're like, good, you will bring more people, therefore I will help you. So they will literally pay them to shill for Zionism without them even knowing it. And they're all around. They're freaking everywhere. And I'm not even trying to call out SGT Report. I'm trying to get him to wake the fuck up and have that conversation with God. But he won't, because he's too busy telling you how concerned he is. How concerned he is. Without having zero evidence, without having zero proof. And every single day we fucking remodel Zion again and again and again and again and again and again. Every fucking day. The Jason The dude in the Jason mask with a chainsaw that doesn't even have a chain on it. The dude running through the forest in a chainsaw with a mask who can't see peripherally, who can't run. That's the guy you fear. And that's what this fight is about calling James Luciferian. You know what you're doing there? You're saying, I don't want to talk about the truth of Zion. I don't want to talk about the truth of God. I don't want to talk about all the bullshit in the Bible in reference to backing up Israel. I'd rather us run from a Luciferian with a chainsaw that has no chain on it, with a hockey mask that doesn't allow him to even see peripherally. That's who we want to run from, and James True fits that bill. So let's run from him for a while. Let's stop all this talk about having a conversation with God, and let's fucking destroy James for being Luciferian. And it's the exact same ploy every single person does. And you should ask yourself, why do they keep doing the same ploy? It's because it keeps working. And it tells you the motivations of the ones who do that to me, doesn't it? It tells you what they're willing to do. I had a guy try and tell a friend of mine the other day, well, James isn't stable, so you shouldn't listen to him. And they're pulling that same DSM bullshit, aren't they? That germ theory bullshit. That idea that, no, I understand. I have special knowledge. I have special knowledge from God, and James doesn't read the Bible, because if he did, he wouldn't be saying these things. That's what we're trying to convince each other of. And meanwhile, I think I like quoting the Bible almost every episode. Like almost every episode. God's covenant with Noah. Genesis 9. Then God blessed Noah and his sons, saying to them, be fruitful and increase in number and fill the earth. The fear and dread of you will fall on all beasts of the earth, and on all the birds in the sky, on every creature that moves along the ground, and on all the fish in the sea. They are given into your hands. Everything that lives and moves about will be food for you. Just as I gave you the green plants, I now give you everything. But you must not eat meat that has its lifeblood still in it. And for your lifeblood I will surely demand an accounting. I will demand an accounting from every animal and from each human being too. I will demand an accounting for the life of another human being. Whoever sheds human blood, by humans shall their blood be shed, for in the image of God has God made mankind. And as for you, be fruitful and increase in number, multiply on the earth and increase upon it. Now listen to this. Then God said to Noah and to his sons with him, I now establish my covenant with you and with your descendants after you, and with every living creature that was with you, the birds, the livestock, and all the wild animals, all those that came out of the ark with you, every living creature on earth. I will establish my covenant with you. Never again will all life be destroyed by the waters of a flood. Never again will there be a flood to destroy the earth. And God said, this is the sign of the covenant I'm making between me and you and every living creature. And he goes on. The sons of Noah who came out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham was the father of Canaan. These were the three sons of Noah, and from them came the people who were scattered over the whole earth. Noah, a man of the soil, proceeded to plant a vineyard. When he drank some of its wine, he became drunk and lay uncovered inside his tent. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw his father naked and told his two brothers outside. But Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it across their shoulders. Then they walked in backward and covered their father's naked body. Their faces were turned the other way so that they would not see their father naked. When Noah awoke from his wine and found out what his youngest son had done to him, he said, cursed be Canaan, the lowest of slaves. Will he be to his brothers? He also said, praise be to the Lord, the God of Shem. May Canaan be the slave of Shem. May God extend. And it goes on. After the flood, Noah lived 350 years. Noah lived a total of 950 years, and then he died. Half of you think the Bible's literal. Not half. Some of you think the Bible's literal. Some of you think it's symbolic. Some of you think it's numerological. Some of you think it's all of those things. As I uncover what I think truth is, I believe that for something to be true, like true, It would have to zetetically resonate truth inside of anyone who experienced it. In that way, I think songs are true. I think paintings are true. Just as an example, this song Stairway to Heaven, literally just picking one, has a truth to it because of how much it resonates in so many people. That's one way. That's like a zeitgeist proof, right? It's like a majority proof. So it's not even really a proof. It's more of just a tendency. But the other part is in there, is that inside the song itself, you have lyrics and you have chords. And those lyrics also resonate truth. And those chords also resonate truth. Cohen's song Hallelujah is a perfect example of that. It's a song that has tonal truth and it has literary truth. The idea of being tied down in a chair is the Gulliver, isn't it? And asking for the Lord to help. It's Hallelujah is only beautiful because of where that person came from, who was able to finally say those words, who was able to reach up and exclaim Hallelujah. And I'm telling you all this because if there's going to be a book that has truth in it, it's going to have to be true on every level for it to be true. It's going to have to be metaphorically true, ironically true, scripturally true, literally true, phonetically true. Every aspect of it would have to have truth. That's all I'm saying. That's what I think. If we argue all the time about what truth is, and I'm telling you, here's what truth is. Truth is something that is extra. That's not the word. Unidimensional. That's the word. Unidimensional. Truth is unidimensional. Because on every dimension that you can experience that truth, you feel and recognize it as truth. This can be beauty, right? Because we see truth. This can be sound. We hear truth. We can taste truth. All of your senses are recording the exact same reaction to it, that it's truth. The reason why I'm saying this is because if you look at the passage I just read you in the Bible, God is telling you that every single person came from Noah. Every single genetic line, every single propensity, every single animal, every single thing possible came from Noah and his actions, from Noah's Ark. And if you were to explain to a child what a time capsule is, you wouldn't be able to use the word time capsule. It's too advanced. In fact, if you wanted a child to store this time capsule and never open it until he was 18, there's no way that you could tell that child the most exciting, amazing thing, the answer to everything in the world is inside here. Don't open it until you're 18. That's not going to fucking work. And what if saving that time capsule is so important that you no longer care what you have to tell your child? Because what's more important is that that child does not open it until they're 18 and that they keep it. Think about it. I need you to keep this. I need it to be the most expensive, valuable thing you've ever owned, and I need you to not open it. I can't tell you what's in it until you're 18. When you're 18, you will understand what's in it. But until then, you will look and you won't. You won't be able to fathom what it truly means. And that's why I need you to not open it. Because if you opened it before, you would try and understand it. You would think that, well, this is all messed up. It makes no sense. We need to fix it. And you start fixing that. Or you start throwing shit out. Or you start adding stuff, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? You would need something to convince that child that this thing is as deadly as it is important. That's what you need. I believe that that's what Noah's Ark is. It is a allegorical story that is true, as I'm talking about true. But it's true on every level. And when I do the math on this, all I'm doing is trying to extrapolate how could all of this be real? How could all of these things that it's talking about be real? And the answer is freaky. The answer is that Noah could be a hermaphrodite. He could be a Baphomet hermaphrodite, a starter seed package. When you go to the farmer's market, you find an antique tomato, right? Like a tomato that you think is like, holy shit, that's a beautiful tomato. And you take that tomato home in the ark. You don't eat it. You save it. You protect it. You want its seeds. Sure, you ultimately want the fruit, but you can't have the fruit of that. You want the seeds. You want those seeds to be sprouted. That tomato is not like the other tomatoes. That tomato it's a carrier. And I'd like to suggest to you that a long time ago, man could live for 950 years because they had to. Not only could they live for 950 years, but they had the ability to have multiple children, much like a drone queen can have multiple drones. And that all those children could come out of this master, this queen, in such a way where each of them would be unique. Each of them would be different. That the ark itself, the library, is more like a ticker tape out of these Baphomet, out of this hermaphrodite. It's a ticker tape. And it's every stock. It's not one stock. It's not one core family. It's every stock comes out. And that out of this one line, you have a fountainhead of humanity. And I say that because if we're going to say that the Bible's literal, if we're going to say that the 4 flood stories that we know of in ancient culture, only one of which is in the Bible, if we're going to say all that's true, then how could you have a world that repopulates itself following this story? Why do we have people that used to live 950 years and then now we live 60 or 70 years? And the answer is genetics. The answer is genetically spinning down information through your genes, through a Baphomet. So what I'm suggesting to you is that Noah, the person with horns, not as a joke, was a hermaphrodite Baphomet who was here to have a lot of children over and over and over again. And that's why when you read in this story, the reason why Canaan was punished was because Ham saw his father naked. I know it's a bizarre idea, but I want you to think about the Bible in every possible way you can. I want you to look at this book in as deep a way as you can, and look at our history, look at where we're at, look at where culture at, and look at where culture could go through advancements in genetics and transhumanism. Look at all the advances that we're making right now. Look at all the sterility that's being introduced by the Zionist remodelers. Fuck you. And ask yourself, how could we survive? Start looking at your life, at this world, as this place is a fractal, which means the end is the beginning. Stop buying this idea that there was a Big Bang at the beginning and an end. Stop buying this idea that everything has linear connotations to it, because there's literally nothing in nature that's linear. There's not a damn corner of this world that's linear. All of it points back to itself in a Wundershit spiral. And I'd like you to picture that the ark itself was inside of Noah. It was a genetic ark. And the reason why he lived for 950 years is because he had the ability to have children, lots and lots of children. He had both sex organs, and everyone in his line had that so that they could put out as many children as they needed at the time. And as each of these children came out, they could intermarry with each other without a problem, because they were starting from this seed. And what Ham was doing by going to see his father naked was he was wanting to partake of the primal seed still. that what Ham was noticing was that when he was born, he wasn't going to live 950 years. He was going to live 450. And when his son was born, he was going to live 300 years. And he saw that degradation, that winding down of the fractal, and said, I want more. And that would be about the only thing you could do to warrant having your entire line be cursed. Your entire line be cursed. Canaan did nothing to Noah. Nothing. But it was chosen to destroy his lineage, his line. So why did Noah have horns? Why did he live for 950 years? Why was he able to preserve every single person inside of a thing we're calling the ark? Could the ark be a story that we tell a child about a time capsule? Could we say, son, this time capsule is a lightsaber? That's what he could say. You could tell your son, this is a lightsaber. And when you're 18, when you reach 18, if you've never opened this, if you've always been pure, if you've always had a good heart, when you turn 18, this will activate. The Jedi technology inside will activate when you're 18, and it will become a lightsaber. That's about the only thing you could do to tell that kid, don't fucking open this, but don't lose it. Don't open this, but don't lose it. Don't open this, but don't lose it. The child would not have the language or the understanding, the comprehension to get the concept of a time capsule. They wouldn't. Children don't even imagine themselves being 18. They can't even fathom that. You would need to tell them something different. And as you look back in mythology, as you look back in these stories, you're finding those truths. And they're resonating for you, and they're not always pretty. They're not always pretty. But you start to see why Baphomet would emerge and why Baphomet would be needed in the beginning. Why transhumanism would become something that people want. Most of us will lose the battle of transhumanism because of how easily we've lost the battle of Zionism. Women will choose liars right now. They will say, I will take a Zionist cuck over a real man any day. Because they see where the profit is. So transhumanism is coming because I see it every day. I've experienced it last week. I'm watching transhumanism unfold in real time. I've written books explaining why everyone will want it. And I don't want it, but I know why everyone will want it. Because right now, people are making it profitable to remodel, to make it expensive to be man, and make it profitable to be a cuck. It's the male feminism, the male lesbian I'm talking about. He'll tell his partner, it doesn't matter if you love me or not, I just want to be your friend. That's truly our relationship with Zionism. We have that. And we have that because we will not take the time to have that conversation with God. To just discuss that. To say, hey God, here's what I'm thinking about all this stuff. And that's what you're thinking, right? It's not what I'm thinking. You tell him what you think. You could even say, God, I'm James guy, man. I think you need to smite him. Whatever. I need you to know I'm not gambling over here. I'm not gambling that I'm going to get away with God not smiting me. I've already told God, if you feel like you need to punish me for using this heart, for using this brain, for using my adrenals, for using my endocrine system, I understand. I'm not going to take it personally. Sometimes things are going to come out of the factory, God, that you're just going to have to destroy. You're just going to have to go, I fucking can't have that on the showroom floor. If I am that, I want you to destroy me. I want that. I don't want you putting models out that shouldn't be out there. Guys, I can have that conversation with God. SGT report can't. Sean can't have that call with God. He doesn't have the ego for it. Most of us don't. And because of that, God spends most of his life being ignored by us. We don't say a fucking word to him. It's true. If you get down on your knees and you're praying with the Bible, you're giving all that prana to your church. When you're at home, you're talking to God. But when you're in church, you're giving that to them. You're not in your home. You're in a church. That's called joining a frequent flyer club of lottery tickets, isn't it? Right? Well, no, every Sunday I play the lottery. I pay this $1 and there it is. And I don't have to talk to God because God sees that I'm playing the lottery. He gets that. He sees that I buy my ticket, so why would he be mad? If anything, he should be happy. Look at how much I'm devoting. I spent $7 on him Sunday. Most of the world is sharks. And most of those sharks are hiding behind Zionism. Most of them are too much of a fucking coward to say, hey God, I want to talk to you today about this. God, if you were truly going to write me a book, an instruction manual, it just feels like you would have signed it. Or you would tell me in my mind right now, with your voice, the voice that the Bible says you have, that the only thing you've ever had is voice. In the beginning was the Word, right? That you would tell me, so I had no question at all. If obedience is that important to you, why not make obedience the main thing? So, because you have to have faith, James. Exactly. You have to have faith, don't you? You have to have faith. And what did God give you for faith? He gave you a heart. He gave you a mind. He gave you an adrenal system. And he gave you Zionism, remodeling his fucking ass all around you. And he gave you Porsches and profits and millions of followers and all kinds of other stuff. Just to not say a fucking word about it, man. Just swallow it all. Tell everyone how much you're fighting for the good fight. You just have to be careful of who you share. That's all. I'm going to find you under the concrete. Your toes are going to be in the soil, and I'm going to be there right there with you. We're going to see each other. Not this way. We're going to see each other in person. It'll be over a fire. It'll be over food. It'll be over sweat. It'll be over conversations. It won't be here. I can't win this from here. You know that. None of us can. Just like you realize now slowly, some of you realize slowly, that the airports don't belong to you anymore. That grocery stores don't belong to you anymore. That schools don't belong to you anymore. That work doesn't belong to you anymore. You will soon understand why the internet does not belong to you anymore. You will soon understand why I'm trying to create something outside the internet. Something more in the soil. And more and more of me will go away as we reset. And I want you guys to know that we're there. You just have to burn more calories to find us. And the people that you don't have to burn any calories for, they're going to have all the great music, all the great scoop, all the latest craze about what's going on and Wayfair cult and whatever else is going. They're going to have that drama ready for you, that drama drip. It'll be right there ready for you. And you won't have to feel guilty. You won't have to feel bad. You don't have to worry about anything. Because you're chasing around titties with a chainsaw in the woods with no chain on it. No one's going to get hurt. No one. The worst thing that could happen is that she could sprain her ankle, right? And that would just add to the drama, right? It's like, oh, now she's crawling away. And it's an entire menagerie, shakedown street of channels like that. That's most of what's out there in the food court right now. I'm going to sign off now. Good luck with Zionism. I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, Amanda Vollmer and I, we do our weekly show. It's on her channel. I'm looking forward to that. Saturday, Benjamin Balderson and I are on this channel. And probably after that, I'm probably heading on the road. So probably, I don't think the daily thing's going to work like this. We'll have to change it around a little bit. So we'll talk about that more. I'd like to encourage you all to consider coming to the thing. Prices went up only by a little bit today. Our first early bird special is over, but you can get a complete ticket, which includes food, by the way. It's most festivals you go to, you're going for admission and then you're paying extra for like a VIP. That's not how it works here. There's no such thing as VIP at this festival. It's everyone's VIP. What I mean by that is I have to buy a ticket. I bought my lanyard. I bought it yesterday. Ben is buying it. This is Ben's land, and he's buying a ticket. This is paying for some amazing food. It's going to be great. It's fabulous. This thing's already coming great. The amount of support we have, a lot of people volunteering, people are already there on site right now. Actually, they're not exactly on site. They're like miles away from this site right now, preparing for this. It's coming together beautifully, and we'd love to see you guys. If anyone can help join us, you could come out early. We'd love to have your help. Come to the thing. You can sign up there for, if you just check out the website, you'll find all the information you need about to volunteer or anything else you want to do. Definitely check it out. I'm looking forward to sharing more about this. It's going to be awesome. So thanks for listening, guys. Have a happy Thursday, and we'll talk to you soon.